Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the Things, Apps and Integrations webinar. This, of course, is a part of a series of online webinars that we're doing all year, culminating in the Things conference in September. That, of course, is the largest LoRaWAN conference in the world, which we're really excited about. But yeah, we have a great series of events all year, and I'll talk more about that later if you want to know more of what we're doing. But yeah, we're glad you're here, and we have a lot of exciting things planned today. So let me pull up the agenda here. There we go. So today, I'll welcome you all to the webinar, and then I will talk briefly about the Things Conference devices, which is in exactly 2 weeks, and then I will go over all of the ways that the Things stack is integratable. So I'll talk about how you can connect it to all the other awesome parts of the LoRaWAN ecosystem, and then finally we'll have a really fun Q&A with guests from Blockbax, Influx Data, Semtech, Qubitro and Tektelic. And we're going to talk all about the ways that the awesome LoRaWAN ecosystem drives value and improves end users' lives. So, yeah, so the first thing on the menu today is that I really want to quickly talk about the Things Conference devices. So in 2 weeks, we have that. And so today we're talking about integrations and all of the different components of the LoRaWAN ecosystem, which make using and acting on LoRaWAN IoT data really easy. But of course, all of that starts with actually having sensors to collect data. And one thing that we realized is that so we have a lot of videos on YouTube reviewing products, reviewing devices, reviewing hardware, and those are some of our most popular videos. And it made us think that that a lot of people actually have a lot of questions about, say, what the best device is for the solution that they want to implement. And so we decided to put together the Things Conference devices, which is a big expo where all of the exciting LoRaWAN manufacturers and a lot of the integrators come together, and then guests from all over the world. We're doing this in 4 time zones, and guests from all over the world can join and actually see devices in action. They can you can build relationships with manufacturers, and you can ask questions directly about how to use devices. You can see what the data looks like coming from devices, and communicate directly with device manufacturers and integrators. In the link below, we have or in the description below, we have a link where you can get signed up, and you can also see all of the events that we've got planned all year. So the Things Conference devices, that is on March 24th, and that will be a really, really exciting expo where you can get to know all of the devices, manufacturers, integrators in the LoRaWAN ecosystem. Let's see. Okay, just in case I didn't hammer that in well enough, I have a really quick video which explains exactly what what the Things Conference devices is. So I'm going to play that, and then we'll be right back. Here we go. If you're interested in using the power of IoT and LoRaWAN to digitally transform your business, then the place to start is at the Things Conference devices. Thousands of guests join from all over the world to learn about all of the exciting products in the LoRaWAN ecosystem, to find the perfect device for your use case, and to meet manufacturers, ask questions, and see LoRaWAN devices in action. Get your tickets for the virtual conference on March 24th at thethingsconference.com/conference series. Welcome back. So yeah, I'm really excited for the Things Conference devices. It's been a while since we got to all get together as a community, and I think that's going to be really fun. So yeah, the thingsconference.com has the links for the Things Conference, the big conference in September, and then also for all of the smaller events and a schedule of exactly what's leading up to the conference. You can buy tickets for the big conference, or you can buy tickets for the Things Conference devices at the end of this month. Yeah, so welcome back to the webinar. This is actually our first year of doing a series of events all year round like this. And it's really been great to get to meet so many more members of the community, and also to get to chat with so many partners live and to try to pick people's brains for knowledge that will actually bring value to members of the community. So thanks again to everybody who's joined, and I'm happy to have so many viewers back. We are streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and we've got about 100 people watching from all platforms. So hello to everybody. Welcome to the Things webinar on integrations and applications. Today, we have some exciting guests. So we'll be interviewing guests. We'll do a Q&A at the end. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll do some interviews about the LoRaWAN ecosystem, and we'll talk about how TTS was designed to be maximum integratable, and then we'll show some examples of the things that the other parts of the ecosystem that you can connect the thing stack to in order to drive that value. Let me see. Okay, I mentioned the Things conference, but I want to talk a little bit more about that. So yeah, in September we have this big gathering of all of the basically the entire LoRaWAN community, and that means that thousands of us will get together in Amsterdam, and hundreds of speakers will join to share all of the latest and greatest about all of the latest and greatest news in LoRaWAN. And this year, so at the conference itself, and then also through all of these webinars, the thing that we're really concentrating is what we call digital transformation. So for us, it's we see a lot of power in IoT, but the power doesn't just come from being able to measure anything. It's if you can go out and measure all of the control points in your business process, that's great. But we think that we've really succeeded when your compliance reports are auto-filled. So when you get that business data, or when you get that the IoT sensor data, and then you actually use it to transform the way people work. So so as soon as your compliance manager can autofill compliance reports with IoT sensor data, then we feel like we're on the right track. And the term that we have for this is digital transformation. So all year we're concentrating on the ways and the hero cases in which we're taking LoRaWAN IoT sensor data and directly using it to impact business processes. So I just want to keep that in mind. And as we go into the rest of this webinar, I'll always be trying to highlight ways in which we're using LoRaWAN IoT sensor data to directly improve business processes through digital transformation. So next up on the agenda, we have, let's see, we've covered the Things conference devices, and up next we have a demo where I'll talk about how you can connect the Things stack to other parts of the LoRaWAN ecosystem, and then we'll do some interviews with partners who make some of those other parts that you can connect to. So yeah, so the Thing stack is designed from the ground up to be as integratable as possible, and we're really happy to have some partners here who make integrations that we can actually demonstrate some of that integratability with. This is exactly what we imagined when we designed the Thing stack to be able to interface with all these other third-party platforms. And we see the network server as a crucial link in the chain of success. So I have up now a video about integrations, and I'll play that, and then I'll talk a little bit more about all the ways that you can securely and scalably integrate the network server with, say, data visualization platforms and other ways of visualizing, triggering, and reacting to IoT sensor data. So here we go. This quick overview on integrations in the Thing stack. Today, I'll talk about the role of a LoRaWAN network server, and I'll show you how to easily connect all sorts of platforms to visualize data, trigger actions, manage devices, and really drive the maximum value from your LoRaWAN IoT sensor data. Let's get started. In case you don't already know, the Thing Stack is an enterprise-grade LoRaWAN network server. In a LoRaWAN network, devices send secure messages to gateways, which are forwarded to a network server, like the Thing Stack. It's possible to view and act on that data within the Thing Stack, but the real power of this model comes from integrating other end applications, so today we'll examine the best ways to do that. Today, we'll talk about the Thing Stack API, one-click integrations using webhooks, native integrations with AWS IoT and Azure IoT Hub, how to access historical data with the storage integration, and legacy integrations using MQTT. First, let's talk about APIs. The Thing Stack was designed from the ground up to be integratable. All features are accessible via API. If a feature exists, it's first developed as an API endpoint, and any actions can be automated via API calls. If you're designing a complex integration, check out the API documentation, and you can even look at the actions in the console and command line to see examples. They all use the same public API. However, a far more typical use case is simply forwarding messages to and from a data visualization platform. This can be done most easily with webhooks. Webhooks send data from the Thing Stack to another platform. They can be scheduled for any type of events, for example, uplinks, join requests, and they carry that data to another platform securely and scalably. Webhooks also carry all the same metadata as the API, so it's possible to analyze coverage, signal strength, number of devices on a gateway, and more. To make webhooks as easy as possible to set up, the Thing Stack partnered with lots of data visualization platforms to create one-click templates for connecting. You can see all the existing templates in the webhooks section of the Thing Stack, and more are being added all the time. If you're used to managing IoT devices in AWS IoT or Azure IoT Hub, the Thing Stack has native integrations which allow you to process all data in those platforms without ever having to touch the Thing Stack itself. The Thing Stack will just handle LoRaWAN messaging in the backend. We had lots of requests from users who wanted to see historical data in the Thing Stack itself, so we created the storage integration to do exactly that. It allows you to easily save and view historical data. The Thing Stack also has an MQTT server built in, but we recommend using webhooks for future-proof applications. Webhooks are far more scalable and secure. Some legacy applications still use MQTT, so we've kept support for it, but if you're designing your application with the future in mind, use webhooks. So, that was a quick overview of all the ways to connect the Thing Stack to other applications to process and act on your LoRaWAN data. If you'd like to try the Thing Stack for free or get support building your own LoRaWAN end-to-end solutions, see the links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Hi, welcome back. In this LoRaWAN model that I talked about, we have devices which communicate with gateways, which communicate with a LoRaWAN network server. And then today's webinar is really all about this last step, where once your data is in the network server, you can then communicate with other platforms to basically to make that data more actionable. And I do want to hammer again that in designing the Thing Stack, we designed it from an API first perspective. So literally every feature that exists in the Thing Stack is scriptable. So as a third party, you can always access that API and you can script any actions on your data. And I mentioned in the video, so anything that the console does, anything that the CLI does, there's an API for, and you can go and play around and you can see all of the things that are possible to do there. But today, most of the integrations that we're going to be discussing use a slightly more easy way to integrate, which is webhooks. And webhooks are just HTTP requests that the Thing Stack can send with, so for example, anytime a device communicates, you then have a webhook that sends data to a data visualization platform. And we have a lot of end users who then, for example, map GPS data, or we had one really funny case where somebody built a smart van, and so he could see the temperature, he could see if the doors were open in the van, and he had a nice little map which he shared with us of exactly where his smart van went. And the possibilities are really endless for what you can do once you start integrating the LoRaWAN network server with other third-party platforms. So we have some interviews today, and we're going to discuss exactly that. We're going to discuss how you can really drive extra value by sending your data along securely, and yeah, I'm really excited that that the ecosystem is always growing. If you are a say low-code, no-code integrator, you can always reach out to us, and we in the Thing Stack we try to build really like one-click, simple-to-use integrations with other platforms, and that's also always growing, which we're really happy about. So without further ado, I think it is time for interviews. Up first, we have an interview with Blockbax. So with Erik Klein Geltink from Blockbax. He is the lead solutions engineer, and I'm going to bring him on. He's in the backstage. I can see him there, and we'll ask him some questions. Let's go. Here we go.
Ben.
Hello, Erik. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great too. Wonderful to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be
Cool.
part of this webinar and see so many attendants.
Yeah. It's really it's nice that we can do this together and interact with the community this way. And and with that said, I'm going to ask you the first question, which is how a third-party integration like yours brings added value to LoRaWAN users. Shoot.
Yes, good question. So most people and companies start small with their IoT solution, right? Which is fine, which is the way to start. But rolling out your solution from pilot to large-scale operation requires a scalable, manageable platform to store, visualize, and analyze your data. So with Blockbax, you can start small with one sensor, but it is designed to scale. So you are backed for the future, so to say. And on top of that, we also have triggers which make your solutions actionable. Users and systems are proactively notified on any issues or alerts. So because at scale, it's impossible to watch your graphs, your time series 24/7. So it's better to be proactively notified. Other things that we bring with our low-code IoT platform is easy integration. So we have an out-of-the-box template integration with the Things network. Blockbax makes it easy to combine data from several sources, which can bring additional value. So all your sensor, machine, asset data in one platform. Another very helpful way is the self-service capabilities offered in a low-code way, which means that functionality is primarily configured and not coded at all. It also adds a lot to user friendliness. So your data integration, your triggers, your dashboards, like selecting widgets, drag and drop them where you want, data exploration, and also data contextualization is all low code or even no code. And the last two things are, we are fully open in terms of integration capabilities and standards. So APIs to push data in and also APIs to pull data out. It's completely open. And we have role-based access control to support multi-tenant structure. So that's in a nutshell what value it brings. I would love to show it to the community, but that's maybe for a later moment.
Yeah, we can share some links, and anybody who wants to play with the platform can go and check it out themselves. So I didn't introduce the platform, but I think you guys are a low-code, no-code platform, and we have a integration in the Things stack. I know a webhook template. So if somebody is using the Things stack, it's very, very easy to then integrate that with Blockbax and then to create these no-code, so triggers, visualizations, and do a lot of powerful stuff with data.
Indeed, yeah,
that is really cool. And I would like to know where you see the platform going in the future. Where is Blockbax going?
Yeah. So from my role, I see a couple of very clear and common needs among customers in all the different industries that we're active in. One thing that we're going to provide is ways to interact with each other. So users can interact regarding the data and events, tagging, pointing out some things that you might need to point out to a colleague or some engineer or anybody who's in the platform. And we're now also in the midst of low-code machine learning, which is very exciting because that will bring the abilities to simply switch on machine learning capabilities. So out-of-the-box support for use cases like anomaly detection. So when something is strange, but you might not see it with your eyes, the system will catch it and let you know about it. And also predicted metrics, so that you can predict your data 1 hour ahead, or even 1 day or 1 week ahead, and put also triggers on there, so you already triggered for some future events that might occur. So that are some functionalities that we're thinking of and the way we're heading to. So yeah, that's one, two points that we're working on actually.
Wow, it sounds like some amazing developments coming up.
Yeah, it's part of the roadmap. Yeah,
and I think that again really highlights the power of creating these integrations, because the possibilities are pretty much limitless. So then you can attach machine learning, you can do predictive, you can do lots and lots of things.
Indeed, it's just using the webhook in the things network, that it's there, the template, and then all the power is in the platform. You can use it with one sensor, but also with 1,000 or 10,000, and so it's a nice way to start and to be ready for the future.
Definitely. And part of this idea of digital transformation is trying to integrate this data in really actionable ways. And so it also sounds like then being able to automatically notify stakeholders is a critical component of being able to do that. So thanks a lot for sharing. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and for sharing about the platform. I'll put a link in the description below for Blockbax, so that anybody who wants to can try it. And if you're using the ThinkStack already and you go to the webhook templates, you'll see that there's a one-click integration, so you can connect to Blockbax and start powerfully acting on your data there. Thanks a lot, Erik.
Yes. Thank you, Ben. Bye.
Pleasure to have you. See you. All right, so that was Erik from Blockbax, and they are a low-code, no-code platform that is easily integratable with the ThinkStack. It sounds like they're doing some cool things. Predictive data notifications is a new one that I had not heard yet. So exciting developments there. Up next, we have Jay from Influx Data. Yes, I can see him in the backstage here. And so working with Influx Data is always a pleasure. And Jay is a developer advocate, where he uses his experience within the IoT and automation sector to help developers and industrial customers benefit from time series analytics. And if you don't know what time series analytics is, I'm sure that Jay is going to be able to help us out. So Jay, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on. Here we go.
Hey, Ben, how are we doing?
How you doing, Jay?
Yeah, not bad. I've just decided I need to start outfitting my room like yours. You've got quite a cool spot, not going to lie. Mine's pretty
I'd be happy to help you with your interior decor. Just give me a call after this, or stay on the webinar after we go offline.
That sounds good. Give me a walkthrough. Yeah.
My pleasure. So okay, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about Influx Data?
So Influx Data, I guess we'll start with our mission. So our mission is to provide an environment for developers to build basically awesome time series applications. And we're delivering on that mission through InfluxDB, which hopefully some of you have heard of. And InfluxDB at its core is a time series database, and that basically specializes in storing any data that has a timestamp. And that could be for a number of verticals, not just IoT, could be financial, could be infrastructure, could be DevOps. The list is endless there. And what we do is we bundle a bunch of services on top of this, and that allows you to sort of visualize, transform, and analyze your time series data in a number of ways. And then we provide a bunch of client libraries and an API, which allows you to take the data where you need it to be to build out your own applications. And not only that, as well as InfluxDB, we are also the custodians of Telegraph, which is an open source metrics collector. So that basically is a no-code config, which allows you to have a bunch of plugins. You ingest a bunch of data, and then you can send it to a number of outputs. And the cool thing there, it's completely open source. So as well as InfluxDB, there's just a ton of other places where you can shove your data as well, from SQL databases to enterprise solutions. The list is endless. We get new plugins every day.
Wow. Yeah, the ThinkStack is open source as well. It's a nice mentality to have, I think. What role do you guys play in the IoT ecosystem then? I know you have applications outside of IoT as well, but specifically within IoT then.
Yeah, I think I can use like a good example for this. So I was saying to Ben earlier, like I just started getting myself up and started with the Things Network, and the way I did this was through we've now codenamed it Plant Buddy, which is basically just a project that we've been doing where we monitor a bunch of house plants, collect a bunch of time series data, health data about these plants. And then we want to obviously have a place to store and visualize that data. So we chose the Things Network as our way of collecting the data. So basically a bunch of LoRaWAN sensors, fire that through to the Things Network. And then, this is where we think about a great ecosystem of open source, right? So, we can use this Things Network for free and deliver that data to the Things Network. And then straight after that, we can actually just push that data to InfluxDB, where we can store, visualize, and analyze all of that sensor data. And not only that, that was one great thing we could do to have a look at that IoT data from the plants. But we could also analyze the actual Things Network and the health of the network as well, such as device connectivity. So it was really interested looking at like channel RSSI and all that sort of stuff to see where was the optimum placement of my sensors to hit one of those gateways out there. Because it was really nice just to be able to plug and play and get going with a gateway, but you obviously didn't know where that gateway quite was until you plotted it on a map and went, okay, that's going to be good signal, that's going to be bad signal. So yeah, and after that, it's really about automation and providing alerts. So one of the best things we've got there is I actually know when my plant is thirsty or is cranky, because we can set thresholding tasks to check data over time and work out, when the plant is thirsty. And then I just get repeatedly notified saying, please water your plant, I'm dying. So
that sounds like a really fantastic personal project. And I'm sure that that one day that will be ready for commercialization. Yeah, but you really spoke to the power of metadata as well. So in all of these integrations, we pass along a lot of information about the network itself, and so then it's basically up to you what you do with that data. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more with that, because the correlations that you can build with that data is amazing. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
And so if somebody is experienced with the Things Network, but they're not really sure how to use a time series database, what's the best way to get started? And
yeah, so the cool thing that one of the services that we provide with an InfluxDB is a little bit how you do with the Things Network, which is templates. And so me and a few others have worked on a Things Network template, which basically you just pull from our GitHub. There's like a link, and then you go in, you either start an InfluxDB cloud account, which is free, or you can do it with InfluxDB OSS, which is entirely open source, and you run it locally. Paste in the link, and what that would do is build up all of your dashboards, the buckets, which is your storage, all of the tasks, and even give you a Telegraph config, which is how we currently still connect to the Things Network. And then basically you're ready to go. That will collect all of the data from your devices and all of the network monitoring as well. So it's really a click and play approach, and then you can start editing and modifying that template from there. And then if you're feeling really what word am I looking for here? Feeling really collaborative, you can come and give that back to the community and give people more specific use cases between Influx and the Things Network.
I see. Wow. Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of an extension on this open source mindset, where you can give people a head start by sharing basically sharing templates for the things that you've already set up, and then allowing them to remix them and share them with the community as well. So that sounds like a really, really cool way to get started, and for people to have a good point to jump off without getting too lost in code. Yeah, and I didn't put links in the description for the platforms yet, but at the end of this I will, and then we also have the chat. So if anybody wants to jump in the chat, if you have any questions about how to follow up with Jay, with Erik, with any of the other platforms, drop them in the chat, and I will absolutely add a link in the description. So it's really easy for everybody to try them out and get started.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jay.
No worries. Cheers.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Jay from Influx Data, and he shared basically how you can take advantage of the of templates in Influx Data and get started really quickly building actual usable projects using that integration. And it sounds like he's actually using it to make sure that his plants are watered at home. So that's a cool use case. Up next, we have Richard Fuller from Semtech. Richard Fuller is the Senior Principal Systems Engineer at Semtech, and he's responsible for LoRa and LoRaWAN development. And he holds several patents in GNSS and its applications. So we're very honored to have Richard on here today. There he is. Okay, and Richard, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on stage. Here we go.
I'm all set. Hi, everybody, and hi, Ben. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Where are you joining us from today?
San Jose, or just outside of San Jose, California. So west coast of the U.S.
Nice. Yeah. I think most of us here are in Central Europe, so you're quite a ways away. It's cool that we can meet this way.
Yeah. It's still early in the day here.
What time is it there?
It's 7:30.
I see. Okay. Well, this is a good start to the day, I think, and I'm going to start pestering you with questions first thing. So first things first. What kind of integrations do different types of applications use, and why is it important to have more than one type?
Well, I think I can reinforce some of the things that people have been saying, is that there are numerous different applications and just a variety of different things that you can do with LoRaWAN, things industry, things network today. The most maybe difficult thing is that when you go from that first integration with one sensor, and you have been able to build a API to that device, scaling that both in numerous sensors and then also broadening that to multiple different sensors can provide a difficult expansion for developers. You have to keep on building new code. It takes a lot of time. So low code, no code types of integrations that people have been talking about are absolutely important and really critical for a lot of the things we're doing. So, some of the integrations that you talk about, like the IoT core and IoT hub integrations with Azure and AWS, and can really save a great deal of time to make all of this happen. We have our platform for localization based on our newly developed LoRa Edge and LoRa Cloud technologies, and your zero code integration in the thing stack makes it easy to just put in a key, and you're off and running with a fully integrated monitoring and localization capability inside the device itself. So this enables very fast integrations, very easy integrations with a wide variety of devices.
Yeah, I didn't mention that in the video, but that is also a really powerful native integration in the thing stack, is the LoRa Cloud. And for anybody who's familiar with the LR1110, I believe there's like really low power off-device location solving that's done there. And so in the thing stack, if you're using a device that uses the LR1110, what basically happens is that behind the scenes, that data that comes, the low powered satellite data that comes from the LR1110 that gets sent to Semtech's cloud, and then you get GPS resolution in the thing stack without the device having to suffer the power requirement of doing on-device GNSS resolution. Yeah.
Absolutely, the power savings can be dramatic.
Yeah. So what are the types of integrations available today then, would you say? I mean, we have these, especially these low-code, no-code platforms, I think are really powerful. Are there any others that you think are really important?
Well, I think some of the the front end integrations, of which I think you can count the LoRa cloud integration in, is where you have a device decoders, and you've worked very hard at this things industries to try to create a library of the device decoders. And as you expand out and you broaden your application and you want to get to more and more types of devices, having those device decoders really enhances the speed at which you can deploy your broad application and add sensors without spending a ton of time on just building basic decoders. Take this temperature, turning into the format you want. Take this sensor and turning it into the format you need. Those types of decoders, along with the very broad integrations with platforms like the IoT sensing hubs, are very strong features that people will need as they build their applications out.
Yeah, I totally agree, Richard. And those integrations all came out of us kind of realizing that that a lot of people seem to be getting hung up on the same points, and so we thought about how we could drive that and reduce that sort of development cycle for people. So all of these, this whole integrations ecosystem is constantly growing as we figure out new ways to allow people to build solutions basically as quickly as possible, and by reusing as much of the tools that are out there as possible.
Precisely.
And what do you think the future holds in terms of integrations?
I think we're going to see more and more low and no code integrations as we move forward. That is the way that we scale all of these opportunities. I think one of the reasons why Semtech developed the LoRa Edge, which the LR1110 is a part of that chipset family, as well as LoRa Cloud technology, was to begin to enable low code or reusable code for integrating to LoRaWAN devices as possible. But I also think you see this in the overall, not just the work that Things Industries is doing, but Things Industries is also feeding into the LoRa Alliance and doing things like the app payload codecs. That is a function of the technical committee that is going to help standardize some of these interfaces that we see to devices and change the way that we interact with devices, so that we have a much more common platform and easier to work with devices, and be able to work with a broad range of devices very simply with low and no code. I think that has been the theme so far that we've been hammering on, is that even if it is code, it's highly reusable code that we can continue to use over and over again for a variety of different devices, and let us use all of these marvelous tools that people are developing out there with these sensors.
Yeah. I think most of the guests that we have on here as well are they represent low code, no code platforms, and we're really grateful to have such a thriving ecosystem of them. So thank you so much, Richard. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Bye now.
All right, so that was Richard Fuller from Semtech, talking about all the different types of integrations that exist, and especially hammering the value of low-code, no-code integration platforms, of which we have several here to talk about today. So that's nice. Let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to mention? Yeah, please, if you have any questions at the end, I will try to get to them. Sometimes it's hard to be doing a bunch of things at once, but if you leave questions in the chat, and then there's always links in the description below. So for example, if you need help building your own end-to-end LoRaWAN solution, or if you want to try the Things Stack, there you can just click below in the YouTube video, and there's links to sign up to do that. Up next in the interviews, we have Beray from Qubitro. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong, but I'll make him correct me if I am. So Beray is the founder of Qubitro, and he leads the strategy, product, and go-to-market at the company. And then he also really drives their community-led growth. So Beray, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on. Here we go.
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing? And
Fine, how are you?
How was my pronunciation?
That's okay. That's correct. No problem at all. Yeah.
Can you say it again for us, just for the record?
Originally it's Beray,
Uh-huh.
but I'm used to with the Beray,
Okay.
so no problem at all.
And Qubitro?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, perfect.
Which is
So
more
that's
important.
on the record now. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Let me get your banner up so everybody knows exactly who you are. And yeah, so your questions are maybe a little bit more broad here. If you're just getting started in LoRaWAN in 2022, what do you recommend for people?
As someone in the business, I would recommend at first understanding how it works. And because we noticed that a lot of companies, as well as individual developers, don't know how to start because of the lack of the information about how these technologies are actually working. So there are always a scenario in IoT solutions or products. So I would recommend first understanding how it works, the ups and downs, advantages and disadvantages, and also understanding how devices are communicating is also important. So I think that would be actually the only thing, because at the end it's the network, and if someone spends some time to understand that, things will be much easier for them.
Okay, so understanding the intricacies of the way a LoRaWAN network works. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Understanding the basics before you try to build something on top of it.
It solves a lot of problems at the beginning.
Yeah, and we have worked with hundreds and hundreds of customers to build end use cases, and yeah, that varying level of understanding definitely is something that you have to first tackle before you move on. But how do you then provide the most value at Qubitro for end users?
Sure. Using IoT devices. So we see that the biggest problem is at the beginning. Companies spend 80% of their budget for cloud infrastructure and understanding these technologies, so that at the end they will be able to combine tons of services like from AWS or different platforms, understanding which database to choose, which protocol to integrate. So Qubitro is the platform to solve this problem. So I would like to share my screen quickly, because it will be easier for me, actually, if that's okay.
I'm not sure. I didn't plan for anybody to, and I don't have it set up.
No problem. Yeah. Cool. So at the end, we allow no-code integrations with the Think stack as well as the other biggest network providers, and we synchronize all the information regarding the devices itself as well as the sensor data. So at the end, we provide a platform where our users can understand the device metrics, check the status of devices, and easily develop their own solutions by using Qubitro APIs and different services. So when we look at the comparison, we say months depending on the scale of the projects, so that companies need to only focus which device to choose and which protocol to choose. So once the devices are starting publishing data, our users are able to interact with the data itself by visualizing them, or building their own applications like mobile solutions or different web platforms, thanks to our managed infrastructure and APIs. So we also allow them to start completely for free. There's no free trial. 2 devices are always free. And we also offer pay-as-you-connect business model, so they can literally scale as they connect. So this is what we do.
Would you call yourself a low-code, no-code platform, or if you have to give people a kind of simple description of what kind of platform Qubitro is?
Sure. In a sentence, we call Qubitro as IoT application development platform. And one of our part is, of course, no-code and low-code, because we also offer dashboards, widgets, downloading data options, time series, visualization. They all are managed. But Our position is a little bit different because we managed infrastructure for high-scale projects.
I see.
For that, we offer APIs on top of that.
I see.
So, yeah.
So you help people get off to the right start in order to basically build really scalable solutions,
Exactly.
even from the beginning.
Exactly. They can connect. They can synchronize thousands of devices from the Think stack, and at the same time from different providers, such as MQTT protocol might be also used. We offer all of them as a managed infrastructure.
I see.
So
I see. And yeah, so I will definitely drop a link in the description below. So if anybody wants to go and try Qubitro integrated with the Think stack. Yeah. Cool. So thank you, Beray. Sure. Yeah, I appreciate your time, and yeah, I will drop a link so anybody who wants to can try Qubitro.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. See ya. All right. And up next, we are lucky to have a guest from Tektelik. Tektelik has been a longtime partner of the Things Industries, and so Christian Ulrik is the VP of Sales and Business Development, and I'm going to invite him on now. I think he's in the backstage there. I see him. Okay, here we go.
Hello,
welcome, Christian.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
Ben, thank you for having me here.
My pleasure.
And I recognize I'm kind of a very special guest
yes.
because I'm probably the only one here on the speaker list that cannot put an engineering title of some sort on my label. But I send best regards from the entire engineering team at Tektelik.
Thanks. Well, it's definitely nice to have some different perspective. Yeah. And where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Okay. It's nice to have you.
Thank you.
And so today, let's see, I will drop into the questions. What do you think are the most important points to consider if you are starting a LoRaWAN project today?
I think I'll actually start with echoing what Erik Geltink said in the beginning about all projects start small and have to scale. Where we see a lot of our customers and partners, prospects who are interested in implementing, kicking off, and then getting stuck, is the absence of thinking the product and planifying the project, including the rollout state and the execution stage of the project. A lot of the LoRaWAN community has been and still is very developer oriented, which is absolutely fine. This is where good ideas and innovation come from. We have a lot of that ourselves. But many projects have gotten stuck by, let's say, designing something, optimizing it for labs, and then not necessarily thinking all the way through to the end, which has been echoed by some of the speakers earlier. So thinking all the stages of the project, including what platforms, what applications to use, how to design the solution end to end, and how to take care that the solution can actually be deployed, tested, and put into operation in a meaningful way.
I see. So thinking about the long-term sustainability of the project from the beginning is a good idea. That makes sense. And what tools do you provide at Tektelik to basically support this long-term scalability?
So one of the things that we have seen as challenges is the mechanics, the objectives, the mechanics of rolling out large deployments of sensors, simply because you got to onboard them on your network server, you got to deploy them, you got to make sure they join, and how do you verify that this is joining? So we developed an app that's available for iOS, for Apple, and for Android. Can be downloaded from the store. It's called Leapx. So you can find it in the App Store and the Google Store by searching for Leapx, Leapx from Tektelik. And the way it works essentially is that once you are logged in, once you have an account on, so we integrated it with the Think stack. So once you have an account on your TTN instance, you log on to that account from the app. All of our sensors come with a QR code that you scan with your phone. And once you have scanned your device on the phone and it starts the join process, it will be joined to the instance. And then you get, based on the type of device, you get instant feedback from the device. So you get your first temperature reading. If it's a temperature sensor, you get your first moisture reading. If it's a soil sensor, but you get the instant feedback to verify that the device is actually connected back through the network, sending data back to the network server, to the application, and then displaying that data on the screen for verification. And you can go on to the next sensor, the next water meter, the next thing you are deploying. So we are seeing this to be a tool that helps the deployment phase, which is a phase that has been probably a little bit ignored in many applications, but is becoming very important for the scalability, and which, as a hardware manufacturer, obviously, it's one of the things we care about a lot.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely highlighting a pain point there, which nobody has really brought up until now, which is that yeah, often when you deploy LoRaWAN devices, it takes a little while to figure out if they're up and running, and so it sounds like an integration which gives you basically immediate feedback on that would be really, really useful. I think I tried the is it LeapX?
LeapX.
Yeah. That seems like a really a good solution to quickly onboard devices, and yeah, like you're saying, think about the long-term scalability of adding devices in the future to the project. All right. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing, Christian. It was
Thank you
really
very much for having me.
It was really a pleasure to have you on here. And I think we will see you at the Things Conference Devices, I hope, on March 24th.
Absolutely.
Again, cool. Yeah, and anybody who wants to follow up with any of the guests that we had today, I hope we see you on March 24th at the Things Conference Devices. You guys will have your own booth, and we'll go there and we will pester you with more questions when we have unlimited time. Yes. Thanks a lot, Christian.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Ciao. Okay, that wraps up the interviews. I want to say a big thank you again to Richard, to Erik, to Jay, to Christian, and to to all of the guests. I will drop links in the description below for anybody who wants to try the platforms that they were talking about. Thank you so much to everybody who joined the webinar. I'm going to go through the chat really quickly and see if there's any questions that I can address. But in general, we should be pretty easy to reach and to follow up with. So if you have any questions about LoRaWAN, about building your own end-to-end solution, or if you want to actually try the Things stack, we've got links for that below. Let's see. Yep, I see a lot of okay, it looks like the connection is a little bit better today, which is good. The internet in Berlin is never perfect, but yeah, I'm doing my best here to reach you guys in high resolution. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So the Things Conference Devices, like we just mentioned, that is a big gathering of lots of the exciting manufacturers, partners, integrators in the LoRaWAN ecosystem. There's a link below to join that event, and then all of these partners will have their own individual booths where you can go and you can ask them any questions that you want. You can actually see devices. You can see what the data looks like. You can figure out exactly how to use those devices to implement your own LoRaWAN solutions, and then we'll also have integrators there to talk about exactly how their third-party applications interface with particular devices. So, so if you're looking to start your own LoRaWAN project, I think this is really the place. The Things Conference Devices on March 24th. That's in 2 weeks. Hoping to see you there, and there won't be any webinars between now and then. So so if I do see you, I hope that that's the next time I see you. Thanks everybody who joined the webinar. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.